Today's episode of The Walk Show is brought to you in part by Jam Spots. Established in 1989, that's over 30 years, Jam Spots has provided safe and accessible spaces for musicians to create and collaborate. They have hourly, weekly, and monthly rentals to suit your needs. And here's the thing, these rooms rent out at artist-friendly rates. Cause let's face it, we can't all be John Bon Jovi. The best part about Jam Spots is its rich history in the Guelph music scene. It truly is a big part of the local scene and even has a music community within itself. And I should know, almost every band I've ever been a part of has had a room with Jam Spots. That's a ton of rehearsals, photo shoots, and even a music video we shot there with Arise and Ruin. If you're looking for a space within our music community, check out jamspots.com. That's JAMSPOTS.com. Jam Spots. Make some noise! Folks, welcome to The Walk Show, podcasting on all major platforms and broadcasting on Hypernova Radio. Thank you for listening. Be sure to follow the show on Facebook and Instagram, and if you want to support the show with your dollars, you can subscribe over on Patreon for only $5 a month. I'm Derek Prince-Cox, and I hope you are all able to enjoy your Valentine's Day. My wife and I celebrated by doing our favorite thing in the world, which is absolutely nothing. Other than that, though, I've been keeping busy. I have a couple of projects in the works and a couple of great gigs coming up. One that I know I can talk about for sure is taking place April 25th. I'll be back in Hollywood at the Whiskey A Go-Go, keeping time for Apricity. We will be sharing the stage with Paradigm Switch, The Nocturnal Affair, Lilac, and Fozzy. Yes, Chris Jericho's band Fozzy. And I want to get a pic of Apricity and Chris Jericho side by side. I feel like it'd be like David and Goliath. All of my dates and info can be found at www.derekprincecox.com. I reached out to you on Facebook and Instagram to ask you what your favorite and least favorite seasons are. And here's what you had to say.
Now it's time to check that mail. I'm gonna check that mail good. Yeah, check that mail.
From Will Noseworthy of Band Boost. Hey, brother. Will says, favorite seasons, In the Abyss. Least favorite seasons, Four Seasons Hotel and Resort. Will, I love it, dude. Fantastic answer. From Ryan Forsyth of Glasgow Grin. Hey, dude. Ryan says, fall is clearly the best, and anyone who says otherwise can get fucked. I have no feelings about the other seasons. Hashtag fight me. Forsyth is coming in hot. I do have to agree with Ryan, though. I am a fall fan. I really dislike the winter, and I used to not like summer too much either. But I've been embracing the endless sweating during the summer, and I'm trying not to hate winter quite as much. So I think I'm balancing out a little. I guess I'd have to go with fall as my favorite still, with summer close behind, and winter still the least favorite, but I'm really trying not to let it bum me out too much. As always, thanks so much for your participation. If you aren't writing in and you want to get in on the action, when you see a listener question pop up on Facebook or Instagram, leave your answer in the comments or email them to thewalkshow@gmail.com. On that note, let's do today's Double Feature Preacher.
The Double Feature Preacher is brought to you by Planet Bean Coffee.
Woo, that is a tasty f***ing brew.
And by The Walk Show.
Today's music feature is The Same As I by singer-songwriter James Martinez. James has a noble goal as a musician, to write songs that touch the soul and help people cope with rough roads that we encounter in life. The Same As I deals with division, which is an issue we definitely face as a society in 2025. There's also a music video available for this track on YouTube. Big thanks to Phoebe Pang of Alternative Twist Radio for sending me this track. You can support James Martinez by checking out facebook.com/James Martinez Music, and be sure to give him a follow on Instagram under the same handle. Today's Planet Bean feature is their Deep Dark Guatemalan Roast. This is a delicious single origin roast all the way from, well, Guatemala. With hints of cola, molasses, and burning wood, this roast is as interesting as it is delicious. Another home run for the fine folks over at Planet Bean. Planet Bean Coffee is Guelph's coffee company, having roasted fair trade and organic coffee since 1997. Check out what they're up to, get a list of locations and a list of vendors at planetbeancoffee.com. Most importantly, support Planet Bean with your dollars. You'll be glad you did. Oh, and when you do, if you want to help out the Walk Show, please let them know that I sent you.
Stick around to the end of the podcast to hear the full song from today's double feature preacher artist.
For this episode, I had a conversation with one of my favorite returning guests in Walk Show history, Mr. Adam Ujhelyi of Teleportoise, Big Pit, and World Eaters. This dude is the best, and whether we're on or off mic, I always really enjoy our chats. We had yet another great chat, and I really hope you dig it. So let's get into it. And we are rolling. It's the return of one of my favorite people to talk to. It's Adam Ujhelyi of Big Pit, Teleportoise, and World Eaters. Thanks for making time for the show, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. Thank you for having me again. It's always great. It's always great to be back.
Hell yeah.
Good times.
Dude, my pleasure. And, you know, it's funny, when we were setting this up, you mentioned doing episode 194 to keep the 4 thing going. And it's true. Yeah. You were on episode 4 and 154 and now 194. So that's got to be like some crazy Illuminati shit, no?
We are both in the Illuminati. I think that's why.
It's true, man.
I mean, it goes even deeper than that, because 194 is 40 away from 154. So
whoa,
we're going crazy over it. We're going crazy with the 4s.
Well, also, if you take 4 and you cut it in half, you get 2. And I don't know about you, but I have 2 eyes. And eyes have to do with the Illuminati, dude. But it's just one eye, but I have 2 eyes. So that makes me like twice as crazy.
If you think about it, 1 is half of 2, which is 1/4 of 4. So I don't know. We could keep going, but I might get sick. I might get sick if we keep doing that.
That's wild, man. I mean, dude, if we keep going on like this, you know, it's gonna blow me right off the edge of this flat Earth, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I was gonna say we're gonna start believing in flat Earth by the end of this if we're good. Yeah, we're not careful.
We shouldn't be spilling the beans, man. I mean, this is, you know, these are government secrets. So maybe we should just move on and talk about music.
We're coming in hot. We're coming hot with the government.
So dude, how are you, man? It's been a long time.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm very well. I recently got hired as a baker, which I'm very fired up about, because I've been out of work for over a year and a half now from animation, because the industry is in quite a big slump right now. So it's nice to have like regular work again. It's like fires me up in ways I didn't think it would. Just like, I don't know, just having a regular thing to go to every day. And baker is a loose term. I'm more of a heater-upper. I just kind of throw things in the oven and heat them up. But still very cool. And like, I've only been there for 3 or 4 times, but so I'm sure it'll get redundant pretty quickly. But it's you know, like I said, nice to have steady work. And then you know, outside of that, still doing music. And I got a sweet baby boy now, so he's a very nice sunshine part of my life as well. So all around pretty sweet now.
Well, that's awesome, man.
Getting
Congratulations on all of it, man. It seems like you're in a good place.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely getting very stressful. Even last week it was a bit of a weird week. But yeah, things are in a bit of an upswing right now, which is nice.
Well,
we played a sweet show with Nepenthe Friday night, which was also great. Shout out to Nepenthe, winners of round 2 of the Vaughan Battle of the Bands for Canada.
Yeah, they're killing it,
Sweet
man.
Boys. Hell yeah, absolutely. You'll have to see it.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's that rules. And yeah, I gotta see. I still haven't seen Nepenthe live, and there's definitely some shows. Like I know you guys just played with Taking Balfour. Teleportoise. I should have been there. I couldn't be there, and it's just it's a getting old thing, and it's also just like just being a working musician. I feel like I'm always working at shows, so I'm trying to kind of spend my free time, with the family or just catching up on the show schedule and all kinds of BS here in the studio too, right? So it's yeah, it is what it is, man.
I assume you're busy literally every single weekend with like band stuff, so no worries about that.
I mean, when times are good, definitely, man. Things are kind of slow right now. I mean, I did do a fly-in LA, but other than that, and like one sound gig, that was pretty much it for January. But it's been just a lot trying to get used to. Like I'm putting out 4 episodes a month right now, and like, so getting all of the guests booked and the double feature preacher artists and just everything lined up correctly is taking a long time. And then of course you gotta keep the lights on somehow too. So
absolutely, yeah,
getting old, man.
Yeah, I saw that you just started a band with Spencer from Taking Balfour, though.
I did. Wolfmen. Yeah, dude, it's just like a cover band.
Are you guys going to do a sick cover of Who Let the Dogs Out?
Dude, it's funny. We talked about that. I mean, we talked about coming on stage to that.
Yeah, obviously.
That or like Werewolves in London.
Yeah. Is Spencer doing vocals in that?
Yeah, and playing guitar. Very good guitar player.
I was going to say, would love to hear that rendition of Who Let the Dogs Out with you on drums and him on vocals. That'd be very interesting.
Yeah, I think I would just have to beatbox that one, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be interesting, man. I mean, I don't know. The problem with the cover band is that it takes forever to get off the ground. So you've got to learn, like 40, 50 songs, even just to start, right? So it's one of those things where you're like, the more you do, there's like, crossover between bands. Like most cover bands are going to play like a healthy amount of CCR. So you'll learn a bunch of CCR and it'll probably pay dividends for, the next few bands, stuff like that, right?
Yeah. I was going to ask that because you're in 3, right? You're in Guy and a Half, Cheech and the Other Guys, and now this one?
Oh, I can't even keep count anymore, man. Like I do gigs with a band called Casey Lee and his Checkered Past. I do some stuff with a 90s tribute called Nevermind the 90s. There's the Guy and a Half thing is sort of done, but I'm playing with the Strother Martins sometimes, and there's variations of that band. So it's just kind of like whoever's down to go make some money that night, and then you just call it kind of whatever you feel like calling it that day, I guess. So
absolutely. I was gonna say because like there must be some overlap in songs. Like you definitely all have to do Paradise City or something like that at least once.
There's always something like that, man. Yeah, I always joke around that it's always Wagon Wheel, like, and everyone's just so tired of playing Wagon Wheel, but it always goes over well, right? So you just keep playing it.
That's a CCR.
No, it's Darius Rucker is the version I'm familiar of, but I feel like it might be a cover, and it probably is.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just one of those songs that like especially if you get into weddings and stuff, like everybody plays Wagon Wheel, and it's it's a catchy song, and it's just the most kind of stock song there is, So it's there are zero curveballs in that song, which I think is good. But just gets a little monotonous sometimes.
Right. Yeah. You got to throw some Faith No More songs in there.
Dude, yes. We're trying. We're trying to get that Faith No More tribute off the ground. So, lots of stuff in the works, man.
So
I feel like it's always kind of like you have 10 ideas, and if one of them comes to fruition, then you're lucky.
Yeah, for sure. There's only so much time and energy in one day.
Well, exactly. That, and you're dealing with other people, right? So it's like, for all the things that I have to do in my life, I mean, there's 4 other guys that have similar hurdles, right? So it's sometimes more, sometimes less. But, as well as anyone, man, just getting 4 or 5 people in a room together sometimes is really hard.
It can definitely be a headache for sure. I mean, I'm almost very rarely do I practice with World Eaters, which sucks, but I do know the songs, so that helps. But now we're also writing again, or they're writing. I'm going to contribute a little bit, some lyrics and things like that, and I throw my own vocal stylings on there. But it's tricky to, especially there, just because it's like not only Guelph but also Fergus to get to that practice space, and then also Teleportoise. Everybody kind of lives in a different city almost, except me and Will both live in Toronto, just being like what weekend works. Sometimes it works for 3 people, doesn't work for one person, and it's it can be tricky, like you said.
Yeah, man. I mean, and also sometimes you got to do the whole if 2 or 3 people can get together, then you kind of take what you can get. Do you guys normally do full band practices, or is it usually kind of just like fragmented?
If I'm going to a World Eaters practice, it's more likely than not all 5 of us, just because it's an occasion. When the big guy comes down from Toronto, it's time. I don't actually believe that, but I do. It did feel good saying it. So, but we do try to get all 5. And Teleportoise, I will practice with literally any member at any time, but it just doesn't always work out that way. And Big Pit we practice. On a good week, we practice twice a week, so that one's pretty straightforward. Everybody knows Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's time.
Wow.
Sometimes it's too cold. Yeah, sometimes it's too cold, and the guys will be like, I don't want to put on a sweater, and I'll be like, okay, well, just put on a sweater. We can do this. But it's, it's more often than not, we practice twice a week, so that one's easy to figure out.
That's great, man. That's I find that kind of a rarity these days, and maybe it's just me, but I definitely used to be in those bands that would practice twice a week, but man, it's been a long time. I do kind of miss that camaraderie, where it's just like, you're in this thing week in, week out. It just brings a different dynamic to a band.
Yeah, so it's nice because I don't always have time. I often don't have time to play bass, or not even don't have time, but I forget, and then the day's gone. But then with practicing twice a week, I know guaranteed I'll be playing 6 hours of bass that week because we're playing for 3 hours. So it's nice to just kind of get that practice in as well.
That's cool, man. And that's a good length of a rehearsal too. I know sometimes I'll do a rehearsal where the commute is longer than the practice. I mean, depending on where it is, right? But
with Big Pit, we also have a monthly room, which definitely helps. We pay for it every month. It helps motivate, I think, as well, because it's not a lot of money. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that too. That being said, I mean, I still rent at jam spots, and I'm not there nearly enough. But it's still even just worth it to have my PA there, because I do a lot of, sound tech stuff and PA rental. So just to have a ground floor room where I can store that stuff and come get it for gigs is super handy.
For sure. Yeah. Do you find, do you have any time to kind of just write your own stuff at all?
Very slowly. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of sad, but I tend to write. I think over the last few years, I've written more for the songs for the podcast than I have for my own projects. Right. But I don't know, man. We've been talking Colin and Greg and I have been talking about maybe doing Wakeless again. So
that'd be so sick. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Well, and I know years ago, man, I wanted to have you do some guest folks on that EP that we never recorded. And we're talking about finally recording it. So I don't know if you're still down, man, but
5,000%. Yes. I long for the day I get to do guest vocals on anything, especially a Wakeless album. So that's going to be, I'm very down. Absolutely.
Dude, that rules.
You know what? I even remember the lyrics. So I'm not going to say them now because like me just saying lyrics is going to be not as effective as if I just yelled them into a microphone. But in the break, I'll recite them to you. I still remember them.
Dude, that makes one of us.
Yes. Yeah. That'd be sick. All those songs were like very sick as well. I remember listening to the EP, like Bête Noire was on there. And, now, I don't remember the title of the song that I was going to be on, but I remember that one was also sick. But,
dude,
yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off.
Me too. I also cut you off. But you guys have such a cool melancholic sound that I think is like all through, like all of the first album, but also the second EP that I listened to that you sent me. So it's, I'm excited that you guys are at least talking about getting back together.
Yeah, well, it's just one of those things where you put so much time into it. I mean, you know, and you play in bands that are similarly as like methodical, you know what I mean? Like you play in bands where you can tell you guys put a lot of thought into what you're doing as opposed to like, oh, this riff's sick, let's just roll with it, you know?
Yeah.
So to be in a situation like that, like, and to not get to see it come to fruition was just such a bummer.
Yeah. Well, especially because it feels like you definitely have at least 4 songs fully written or fully imagined, right? So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to change things around, but like, I feel like you're almost there with that one.
We might. I mean, I don't know. The problem is I get demoitis. So kind of like the first version of anything is the version that I am drawn to in almost all occasions. I mean, even on albums where I've worked with like credible producers, I still sometimes get the demoitis where I just like our little shitty version better, you know?
That's cool. I mean, I've worked with a lot of producers, but like I like the opposite actually. Like I like how things change over time. Like, you know, when you pack a van and then it like you start driving and immediately everything kind of moves. I feel like I like that aspect of the music where it's like you play it, you practice it 500 times, and you're like, you know what, let's do this instead. And you're like, nice, that sounds much better. Let's keep doing that. That kind of stuff.
I wish I had that, man. That's because to me, that's just like being a fan of progress. But I fear change, apparently.
Well, I mean, you like what you,
yeah.
That's actually
you just get married to the first version. That's all.
Yeah. I was going to say that's a big part of, so World Eaters just put out an album January 1st. That was like a collection of the songs that we play live. But they've all also come a long way since like David's original recordings, just because it's like 5 actual people putting their own spin on things and everything like that. So it's kind of what I described, where it's like now it's, David has been quoted saying that the songs are much better now. So I can also say that I think the songs are much better now too. So
that's awesome, man. And yeah, that leads me right into my next question. Cause yeah, that did come out January 1st. Congrats first off, man. That's great.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
And what's it called?
It's called Hounds of Blood because for no other reason other than the album cover is a Kate Bush reference to Hounds of Love. And there's, to get into the Warhammer mythos, the dogs on the front are called bloodhounds or hounds of corn or whatever. So I was like, Hounds of Blood, Hounds of Love. It sounds similar. Wow, we should do that. And everybody kind of agreed. So that's why it's called that. Winter had a really cool title as well. It was called Tank Treads and Spent Casings, which like thematically makes so much more sense because it's like songs that we used to play. Now we're moving forward. But we went with the sillier one.
Well, that's cool. And I mean, you can always kind of vault good ideas. That's the beauty of, Well, really anything, man, is, anything that was the runner-up, you can just use next time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we will also have tank treads and spent casings next time. So I don't know. Yeah.
That
We'll
rules.
see.
So when you jam up in Fergus, are you jamming at Winter's place? Is that...
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so she's got all her gear there and all the like walls and walls of amps. So it's just convenient because we don't have to. I mean, the fellas bring their guitars and things. I bring a microphone, but everything's kind of already there. And obviously, Winter's drums are all set up, and it's all, I think, essentially mic'd up and everything too. Which is kind of how I think we recorded these. Is it was all it wasn't live off the floor, I don't think, but I know Winter did a bunch of reamping. I don't actually know much about recording, but I did do the vocals there. So yeah, it's all there. Yeah. And it's we don't have to pay for it hourly. It's just like her parents were and her workshop as well. And yeah, just a nice secluded place, nice metal building.
Nice metal building for a nice metal record, dude.
For death metal.
Dude, that rules. Yeah, so I do remember it kind of starting off as David's project. That is correct, right? Like it was pretty much David's solo project before everybody came on board.
That's right. It was a basement project. Yeah. And then Winter, I think, was really fired up about it, and she was saying she wanted to record some drums for it. And right around whenever he would have done your episode, he was saying that they were looking for a vocalist, and I was like, oh, that'd be sick. I would love to just do some death metal vocals. That'd be very fun. And they accepted me into the fold. And then eventually Jacob came, and then also so did Michael of Baby Labor and the Nasties fame. I think he was in the Nasties for a little bit there, or some band that's a punk band. I'm not sure, but I think it was the Nasties.
Awesome.
Might be wrong.
Yeah, that's quite the lineup.
Do you know Michael?
What's that, sorry?
Do you know Michael? Have you met him?
I think so, but it's super hazy, man.
Fair enough. All good. Very sweet guy. He's been around many music scenes for a very long time. So,
did he have anything to do with oh man, the band names totally escape me now. Long Dark Road.
I was gonna say Got Social.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Jared's.
I thought there was a Cavan connection there somewhere.
Yeah. He was the drummer in Got Social for a while.
Okay.
That's
where I know him from. Yeah,
that's
small.
The one. Yeah. Did you end up going to that Cavan retrospective show?
No, I didn't get out to it, man. I don't get out to a lot of shows. It's you'd think that I'd get out to more, but I don't know. I'm always at shows, but they're just shows that I'm working.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I dislocated my knee like that Tuesday, and the show was on Friday, so it was still very colorful and swollen that day, so I couldn't make it out. But I was so bummed because it was the last Long Dark Road show, and also just to see like every Cavan project would have been so sick in one night.
Oh, definitely. But, you dislocated your knee?
What a bummer. What a bummer of a dislocation it was. Yeah, I was seeing a band you recommended to me, actually. So it's partially your fault that I dislocated my knee, because I was seeing Drug Church, which was so sick. I love Drug Church. And like right off the bat, some fellas and others started stage diving, because that's what happens at hardcore shows, unfortunately. And I was holding one stage diver up, and I didn't see another guy stage dove on me, and then my knee, all my weight was on my legs, so I dislocated my knee, and that was the end of that show for me. It was so lame, because it was such a chill, like such a tame show. It was so not a violent show until that moment, and I don't remember a single song because I was trying not to throw up from pain, because it hurt so much. It was ridiculous.
Dude, that's brutal.
Yeah, I didn't tear anything, but I strained my MCL, so I'm still I'm still not running because I'm still waiting to recover from it completely. But yeah, I had the same injury in 2011, moshing to Slayer. I feel like it took much less time to recover 10 years ago. But yeah.
It only
It's very
gets
touch and
worse,
go.
my friend. It only gets worse with every
Yes.
year.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that sucks, man. That's and that's kind of an interesting topic with the stage diving. And I know nowadays, like in the hardcore scene, like the whole crowd killing thing is really prevalent, and like even that was like
Yeah.
totally a bridge too far when I was, you know, playing around in that scene. But
Yeah.
is that just the norm now? Crowd killing? Like, am I just old man yelling at cloud because I think that's fucking whack?
It is definitely whack. I think even in people in the scene think it's whack. I'm of two minds about it. Not the crowd killing. The crowd killing is never not stupid. But like stage diving, obviously I had a negative experience with it, and I think most people in the crowd also do. And I could have sworn that we as a society agreed that like slam dancing was silly like 20 years ago, but I guess we're back. Just like big puffy jeans, they're back, and so is slam dancing.
Yeah.
So but I'm also like stoked that people aren't just standing there with their phones out, you know? Like it's cool to see a crowd move and get excited. So I got two wolves inside me. One that's like, don't jump on me, you fuck. And then also, hey, have a good time.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's so hard, man. Like, I've never been a big pitter. And really, like, when I started going to shows, it was push moshing. Like, it was well before the whole fucking karate thing. But I don't know. And, like, you know, to each their own. But to me, that's where I draw the line is when they start going around the perimeter and hitting people.
Yeah, so I've never seen like the real version of that, like where people are actually trying to knock people out. I've seen like a funny fake version where a lady was going around and like kind of pretending to tap people on the chest, and I guess just to fire people up. I don't know. I still don't understand it, but it's still like, okay, I mean, I guess that's fine. Sure. Do that. But yeah, I've definitely always push moshed because it's just good, clean fun for me. And like when I go see a band, I kind of want to be in the energy and like rocking out, and just like there's enough space in that pit area to kind of just go full tilt, or, you know, not full tilt, but like 80%. So I've always liked that, but definitely moving forward, I'm going to be more of a perimeter guy myself. I can't hurt my knees anymore. That's this is like the 5th time I've dislocated my knee, which is it's too many.
Oh, it's way too many. And especially, I mean, you got to keep the lights on, right? Like if you can't go to work, you know?
Yeah.
I've heard it's just a real pain in the ass to even get on ODSP. And then I've known people that have been on it, and it's very hard to keep too if you need to. So it's, I don't know, which is a whole other discussion, I guess. But yeah, you can't risk it. You just can't do it these days, man.
Yeah. But I do like to, like, I don't know, I love headbanging. I love screaming lyrics back at the band. It's like kind of why I do these, like I go to shows. So I'm going to try to figure out like some sort of cool middle ground where I'm there, but I'm not, you know?
Yeah, really. Yeah, it's a very cool energy, and it's very cool to see people having fun and enjoying themselves and getting physical to an extent. So I don't mean to like crap all over it by any stretch. But to me, I just see this influx online, so maybe it's bullshit, but it seems like there's this influx of just quote unquote crowd killing, and this whole scene of people that are all for it. And, you know, if you post any opposition to it or bring up, the fact that it's just awful, that doesn't seem to go over very well. So I just wondered what you thought of it. I don't know. You're younger than me, so I kind of live vicariously through you, man.
Yeah, I'm also a little bit like, specifically, I think Winter would be the person to ask about this because she's definitely more in tune with like the hardcore scene, much more than myself. I also think maybe all that footage you're seeing could be from the States, which I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they have. I've been moshing in Canada for like 20 years. So, but like the one time I went to, I've been to a couple shows in the States, and every time I like mosh in the States, I'm like, oh, these people are serious. Like, holy shit, I gotta be more alert for this one because these guys mean it. But I feel like Canadian pits, there's a lot more fun. Like I went and saw Blind Guardian a couple of months ago, Which again, not the rowdiest pit, but that's kind of why it was fun. It was just like, we're moshing, but also we're singing about elves. So how, angry could you really be? So like, we're moshing, but everybody's also got a big smile on their face. This is like just good, clean fun again. It's, yeah.
That rules. Did you get a round of D&D in on that pit, or?
Yeah, I think I saw some dice being thrown. I'm not sure. Maybe, yeah.
That's funny, man. You mentioned Canadian pit, and I just think of a bunch of dudes just like, sorry.
Yeah.
Just gonna sneak by you there, bud. Sorry.
Yeah. A lot of flannel.
Yeah. No dote, bud. No dote.
So, I bet you saw some like sick stuff going down in like the Horizon Ruin days. Like people were probably like karate chopping each other back then too.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because I remember the first time I ever saw it. It was even before Horizon Ruin. It was we had a band called Pure Blank that was almost Horizon Ruin, and we were playing in Calgary with The End. If you remember those dudes, and
I think I have a yeah.
Dude, they were fucking intense, man. They were so good. They were from, I want to say, like Brampton or Mississauga. And we just happened to play a show with them in Calgary. Like, we weren't on tour together. It was just a random meet. It was cool. But, yeah, I remember seeing these dudes doing this shit. And I think I actually uttered the words, like, what the fuck is this heavy metal karate? Like, it's like, I did not understand it. And then, obviously, it blew up. And just like anything, started in the States and came up here. But, it got crazy, but it never got like crowd killing crazy. I saw that shit maybe a couple of times. I want to say, playing with, I think, Life Ruiner. Like they brought a lot of those sort of like, no disrespect to Life Ruiner, but like some of the dudes in that scene were, they were kind of fucking goonish, man. Like,
yeah.
And
That's fair. I
remember seeing like some some people getting hit, and it was super frowned on. Like it was, nobody in the building thought that shit was cool. So yeah, it's total culture shock now.
That's what I mean. Where it's like 20 years ago, we were like, all right, cut it out, and then now it's like, get your two-step on. You know what I mean? It's very different. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just sort of like, not to use the parlance of our times, I guess, but like the whole edgelord thing, there's that sort of edgelord factor to it where, they're like, you don't think I'll go there. It's like, fuck off, dude. Like, you just stop punching women in the face, you fucking goon. Like,
it's true. Definitely don't do that. You know what I can compare it to? This might be a revealing question, but have you ever been much of a ska fan?
No, I mean, I like it, but I just never really got deep into it.
Skanking, which is how you dance to ska, is very fun.
Right.
So, in that vein, I could see how this is also a good time as well. Again, nobody's punching each other on purpose for ska, but yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, even the moshing and the throwing down, like I mean, it looked silly to me, but I knew even at the time, it's just because I was old and out of touch, I wasn't blaming them for doing it. I was more or less I just didn't get it. But, if people have a good time at a show, at the expense of reiterating too many times, but as long as you're having a good time and you're not hurting anybody, then I think that's amazing. Like, seeing energy and seeing that sort of energy transfer between the live band and the crowd, particularly like on a floor show, there's nothing quite like it. Yeah. But there's definitely a line in the sand. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't punch people in.
Yeah. Hey, what do I know? But what I probably should do at this point is take the quick commercial break. And Mr. Ujhelyi and I will be right back right after this. Today's episode of The Walk Show is brought to you in part by Rock Sparrow. Rock Sparrow brings artists and brands to life through quality merchandise. They help entrepreneurs, artists, and brands with online merch solutions taking the guesswork out of merchandising your brand by managing your every need, and all with real people. Speaking of real people, I've known the creators of Rock Sparrow for years, and I can tell you firsthand, these people genuinely care about what they do for their clients and their community. There's even a store there set up for the Walk Show. Check out what they're up to at rocksparrow.ca. If you want to join up like I did, send them an email at info@rocksparrow.ca. And if you want to check out my Rock Sparrow merch, it's at the Walk Show. That's wok.rocksparrow.ca. Again, that's the walkshow.rocksparrow.ca. In any case, if you want to help out the Walk Show, please let them know that I sent you. Hey, business owners, wouldn't it be cool if I was taking this time to talk about your product or service? I've enjoyed building relationships with some very cool companies since I started this thing, and I am looking to expand the Walk Show family. I work with some great sponsors, and I've sponsored events through the podcast, so I do understand how valuable time and resources can be. If you have any interest or questions about working with the show, hit me up at thewalkshow@gmail.com. Again, that's thewalkshow, WOK, @gmail.com. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Now let's get back to the show. We are back, and on the break we were talking a little bit about the Toronto music scene, the good, the bad, the ugly, and one thing that kind of came to mind was playing in Wakeless, because it was such a, I don't know, like it wasn't really hard-lined any one particular genre, but we'd play in Guelph and people would think we were like doom metal, but we'd play in Toronto with actual doom metal bands and they would think we were like a pop band or something, so it was just kind of an interesting experience. But being in Toronto and playing in, well, one band from Toronto, right? Big Pit.
Yeah.
What's your take on the Toronto scene these days? Like, is it trucking along? Do you get out to many shows? Let's talk about it.
Well, obviously less shows now, what with the fatherhood and all, but I mean, I still kind of do. It feels a little weird right now. Like, it feels like there's a lot of really cool pockets, but like nothing like united in a way that it might have been in the past. Like, for heavy music specifically, like the Coalition used to be a great venue where basically what you described, like a bunch of really heavy bands would always be there. And like there was a good collective of people there. Like I never got to play there, but I feel like there's a really good noisy scene. There's like definitely a solid hardcore scene, which is cool. That's definitely more like young people, or younger people than myself. And there's also, I don't know, the like metal scene's interesting just because like it feels like divided in an interesting way. Like there's like a lot of bands like that I'm aware of that I don't know that we're ever going to play a show with, just because like they play venues that like the bands I'm in don't tend to play as much, like not for any other reason than it just doesn't really happen. Like there's a venue in Etobicoke called the Rock Pile West, and I know a lot of bands play that venue, but
I love the Rock Pile, man.
It's super cool. I wish it was not in Etobicoke. Like it's nice because it's close to me, but like it's very far from everybody else. It's definitely like a venue made for bands, which is very sick, but I don't, it's just kind of out of the way. But yeah, it's cool. Like there's a lot of good punk stuff too. Like Big Pit has mostly kind of played with punk bands, which is interesting because we're kind of, I don't know, like we work with it as well, just because we're not a specific genre. We're kind of like a noisy alt metal band. I've actually kind of, we can talk more about this later, but I've dubbed us true post grunge, like nice. True with a V. Yeah. But so we play with like a lot of cool noisy acts. So we actually have a show at the end of February in Hamilton, and it's all with like very noisy, cool punk bands that play at like a venue called Houndstooth here, which I never go to just because it's out of my way as well. But yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of nice flavors, but no big. There's no big pot of chili. I don't know. That's the metaphor that came to me just now.
I like it. It's good, man. Have you ever played with Vida with Big Pit? I feel like that would be an excellent bill.
I would love to both see and play with Vida. We almost played with them with World Eaters because one of the bands dropped off our January 2nd show, and Vida offered to play, but then eventually the promoter said he only wants 2 bands. So we're like, okay, well, sorry about that. But yeah, I would love to play with Vida. They're very cool, and I'd love to see Ryan play drums in person. That'd be sick as hell.
Oh, dude, he's so good. So good. Yeah, I share a room with that guy. It's he just makes everyone look like crap. It's awesome, but you know,
one day I'll know. We're actually kind of like having a weirdly hard time finding shows with Big Pit. Like this one, we got approached to play this one in February, which is really cool. But like, yeah, like any show that we're not putting on ourselves, it's we've been having a hard time getting in touch with promoters and things, which sucks because I know that, like, I feel like we're a very good band. So eventually I'm hoping we can figure this out.
Oh, you guys are an incredible band, man. I feel like you guys would clean up in Quebec too.
Hopefully, maybe. I mean, we've had some talks about going out that way, like even as recently as 2 weeks ago. But yeah, we just don't really have any connections in that area. And we don't really, especially again, with having a son right now, like I don't want to, and the other guys agree as well. We don't really want to just go and play to an empty room. So yeah, because we can't really promote in those areas because we don't really have those connections. But yeah.
Oh, shit, I wonder, because there's definitely bands out there. Like I could see you guys playing with like Great Sabatini, or like Cell Press would be a great band to link up with, man. Like I wonder if you could show swap with them. Cell Press drummer like Mark McGee is like, I don't see him very often, but I would consider him like throughout my lifetime to be like, you know, a good friend of mine, man. We toured together back in the day, but hell yeah. Yeah, McGee, if you're listening, man, reach out to Big Pit. That would be fucking awesome.
I know that name from the Taker Wide podcast. I've never met this person, but yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
from the anecdotes on Taker Wide.
Well, and Vargas. Yeah, Steve Vargas is that's Sabatini's drummer, and Grabert as well. Yeah, that whole scene, man, like him and McGee and like just that whole crew, they're just incredible musicians and really good dudes. Yeah, man. And honestly, like you remind me of those dudes. Like it's just like a really good dude and a really, you know, some really cool bands, and
they're great. I mean, every time I get to talk to him and Steve and Mark, they're amazing dudes. Great to talk to. Very funny. So,
hell yeah, man.
Yeah,
it'd be good to see that happen, dude. 'Cause, yeah, Big Pit rules, man. All your bands rule. It's you're just like, you've got the hand of coolness, man. I don't know what it is.
I mean, it helps that all those bands have other members. Otherwise, it'd be. Well, you'll see. I have a Dungeon Synth project that I've been slowly working on. That's what it would sound like if just me made music. But, you know, it helps to be in a band with other amazing musicians. Like, obviously, you know about Teleportoise. Everybody in Big Pit is cool as hell. Like, Spike's an amazing drummer. David's like a really cool, like he comes up with really cool guitar parts. He's great at writing songs. Matt's got like, I feel like he's got so much more skill and talent than he's letting on. And like, it's cool to see him play as well, but he's very subtle about it, which is also cool. So it kind of all comes together in a really cool way. And yeah, we're, I mean, while we're talking about Big Pit, we put out an album last year, but we're also writing for an EP right now. We got we almost have 4 songs done, but like we're all very fired up about what we've been making as like a whole unit. 'Cause like David essentially wrote the whole first album, and we added some of our flares here and there, but now it's like, yeah, everybody's contributing a lot more, and it's turning into 4 really songs that I'm really excited about and really fun to play live, and yeah, all around pretty cool. So
that rules, man. It's is it much different than the old material, or is it similar?
We were trying to make an effort to make it a bit more streamlined, so they are structure wise a little bit more straightforward, but I think very heavy. One of them is very heavy. The other one is heavy in like a different way, but still like melodic. We're trying to add more melody to it as well. And I don't know, it feels like pretty classic. Like back in the day, we have like the A side, which is kind of like the poppier songs, and then we have the B side where it's like, get ready, we're gonna go some places, you know? So yeah, it's coming along.
That's cool, man. And it's good to have a mix, you know what I mean? Like we sort of did something similar in Arise, like from Pure Blank. We really streamlined it because we wanted to get out of Canada and we wanted to sign, and that's kind of how you did it at the time. And I do miss some of the nuances that we would use back in the Pure Blank days. So it's, I don't know, when you said that, like I got my back up a little bit. I'm just, yeah, but don't get rid of all of it, you know? Keep some of that spontaneity.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's yeah, there's definitely a lot of that in there. Again, especially in the second two songs we're writing, where it's like I don't know, we hope the audience doesn't lose interest, kind of thing. But we're pretty fired up about it. So,
dude, that rules. And how are the Teleportoise boys? I haven't seen those guys in a long time.
Oh, they're all great. Yeah, Van and his two kids. His daughter was born on the same day as my son was, so that's a fun coincidence. Yeah. But we just played a show on Friday. We had some like minor technical difficulties, but it all sounded very punk rock. But we pulled through in the end, and we had some people very excited about it afterwards, which always feels nice. And then we're same thing. So all three of the bands I'm in releases last year. So now subsequently we're all writing this year. So Teleportoise is writing the follow-up to Solar, our album about the sun. It's going to be called Lunar, which is going to be about the moon. But it was going to be an EP at first, but it's probably going to be a full length just with the amount of songs we have that are in progress. So yeah, we're kind of trying to really focus on that rather than play more shows right now. Like we definitely don't need to play Guelph for, several months just because we kind of constantly play Guelph. And I feel like while we played it in January 11th, and that was a very cool, very fun show and very proggy as well. Like we got to play with Taking Balfour, Spectra from Hamilton, which is also like a progressive metal band of sorts, and not Moonbeam, Starbrides from Guelph as well, which was very cool, very sick prog rock. Which it was really cool. But now that we've done that, it's time to hunker down, get some writing done.
Yeah. And that was at Art Bar, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was very cool. It's like one of the only venues we've not played in Guelph. We also haven't played Red Papaya with Teleportoise or Taboo. What is it called now? Is it called Taboo still?
I feel like they called it the Underground again, but I can't remember. I can't keep up.
Fair enough. Yeah, we haven't played there either. But like it was cool to finally get to play Art Bar as well. It's a very cool venue with like really cool staff. I can't remember. Oh, sound guy. I think his name was James. Really helpful guy. He does sound at the Underground / Taboo as well. And yeah, went really well.
And is Art Bar, is that the old E-Bar?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's the guy who runs it was telling me that the Arts Council is going to use it maybe as like a storage space moving forward. But since then, a Bonnie Trash show got announced there too, so I don't know. Maybe they're going to keep it going, but it also might be closing soon.
Oh man, yeah, they should totally keep it going because it was one of the few venues in Guelph that sounded really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's still the same system as the E-Bar, I assume it is. Like if it changed hands, I doubt they would have pulled that thing out and put in a new one. But
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's there's not too many. It's kind of a bummer, man. There's not too many really excellent venues in Guelph anymore, and there used to be, I feel like Concert Theatre used to have a lot more concerts. Before it was called Concert Theatre, oddly enough. And of course you had the Trashateria and the Vinyl. And I mean, Jimmy Jazz is cool, but like it's never sounded good. I don't think I'm like throwing shade by saying that. I'm pretty sure the people throwing on the shows there would admit that, right? It's just like a box top PA.
It's a little finicky for sure. Yeah. I've never been, but what's the Union Hall? The Onion Hall? What is it called?
Oh,
run by
Sonic Hall, yeah. Run by Sonic Onion.
Hall. Yeah. Yeah, I've never been there, but I'm sure they did a good job. Like, I mean, Sonic Onion's a sweet label, so.
Totally, yeah. Mackenzie and I just went there. And, yeah, it's cool, man. It's very much kind of same as it ever was there, but it sounds maybe... I was going to say it sounds better, but nah, you know what? It probably sounds about the same. Different system in there, but...
I was going to ask where the stage was now. Is it the same spot, or did they move it?
Yeah, same spot. Same spot.
Is the pillar still there?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure it's identical, except they don't have the tiles behind the stage anymore. Those sort of like Technicolor.
Oh, okay.
Look like kind of like a 70s game show or something.
Yeah, I love a cool looking venue like that. It's a bummer that they got rid of that, but yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually that kind of brings. I have you ever played the game Rock Band 2 by any chance? Probably not, eh?
I played the first Rock Band.
Well, every venue in that game looks very cool. Like, obviously, because it's a video game, but I found that, like, the shows I've gone to in the States, it feels like every single one of their venues has, like, so much personality, which is really cool to see, and I wish we had more of that around here. So I think, like, when Onyx had those squares in the background, that was very cool. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
Something to give it its own, personality.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, I guess it's because most venues are also bars, so you kind of have to make it look like a bar, but it'd be, I don't know, throw some giant paper mache guys on the stage or something, something fun.
Yeah, well, it's just something. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and I don't really know what it is, but it seems like in the States, maybe it's the fact that there's 10 times the population, but there's a market for all that stuff. So it seems like if you want to have a rock bar, you can have a rock bar. Whereas here, at least in Southern Ontario, it seems like they kind of want to be everything to everybody. They'll have a punk show, and then they'll kick everyone out by 10, and then they'll do like, club music, and it's just, which is fine, I guess. But, there's never really, like, nobody's ever really swinging for the fences, or just opening that club that just does the thing 100%. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I guess like Rockpile West again, but I feel like that at this point they're kind of whatever rent they pay, I'm sure they're grandfathered into there.
Yeah, well, that was all the equipment from the Cathedral and the Reverb, right? I'm pretty sure it's the same owner that owned the big bar.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that venue feels you're absolutely right. It feels like a venue. Like, I mean, I was just at the Whiskey A Go-Go, and it felt kind of like that. Like, this is, it just screams rock venue.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I kind of wish, like, I don't know, and I always used to try to say this to, like, Nick and Blay, and, like, anybody that would listen was just like, hey, like, if we're going to put on a show, put on a show.
Yeah,
And if it shits the bed, I mean, I guess it's not my money, so easy for me to say, right? But like, if it shits the bed, at least then we know. But like, we gave it 100%, and it either worked or it didn't work. But when you kind of do this whole, like, get out by 10, so we can, it just doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, with Guelph's population's growing, right? So I'm thinking maybe in like 2 years, that'll be a possibility or something. I mean, maybe more. I'm clearly not a businessman, but, with the population growth, hopefully there'll be more people wanting to come and see live music rather than go to a nightclub or something. Because there's plenty of those downtown as well for those people who want to go.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, to the point of personality, though, I was going to say the Bovine downtown Toronto, that's kind of got like all the personality you could handle as well, with like all the nonsense they have on their walls and ceilings.
That's true. Yeah, the Bovine is awesome.
Yeah. I actually, like, to the degree that, like, one time I was taking off a sweater there and I didn't pay attention. I cut my hand on the roof because there was just scrap metal on the roof.
Oh,
So,
dude, did you
piece of an old
did
ball.
you require a tetanus shot?
Maybe, I don't know. I might be going crazy without realizing it. But it's too late now.
Dude.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's one problem with being 8 feet tall, man, is
Yeah. Comes with the territory.
I wouldn't know, man. Down here in Hobbit land, we're not scraping our hands or any part of us on any ceilings, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I just saw Return of the King again. Hobbits do okay. They figure it out by the end.
Yeah, they do need to get on the shoe thing, though. Yeah, start wearing those shoes, guys.
For sure. Well, I'm not one to talk on that, wearing shoes.
That's true, man. There are a plethora of pictures of you doing the frontman thing with no shoes on. Do you play bass on stage with no shoes, too?
Oh, forever. That's how it started. Like, since day one, I've not been wearing shoes on stage. It's, I'm not wearing shoes. Well, I mean, I'm inside, but I'm also not. I generally, as soon as I can, I take my socks off. It's just much more comfortable for me. So, also on stage.
Fair enough, man. I would just be worried about, like, broken glass or something. Have you ever stepped in anything gnarly?
Yeah, one time I stepped on broken glass, and, it's not fun, but also, it was just like a tiny little bit. Maybe twice. But I think with the dirt on the ground, it covers up the wound pretty quickly, and then it kind of figures itself. You obviously got to sterilize it after, but yeah, just adds to the experience. It's more raw, more primitive,
More punk rock, man.
more punk rock. Yeah.
Let's do the listener question. Every episode I ask the listeners a question. I like to get my guest take as well. This one is, what is your least favorite and your favorite season? And I said that back.
Okay, you're talking weather.
Well, just seasons in terms of, I guess, I mean, weather would be sort of the main factor behind it, but it could be anything, really.
Yeah, I kind of like them all to a degree, right? Like, it's all great when it changes, and then around March you're like, all right, it's time to warm up. Weather, or same thing with summer. It's like, okay, it's been hot. It's time. I'm ready to throw on a sweater or some of my sick ass long sleeves. I'm ready to wear some long sleeve shirts.
Nice.
So, yeah, right around the beginning of every season, I'm very fired up. I mean, spring kind of feels like a weird transition where it's like, all right, I don't really need this, but I guess you're kind of getting excited because things are warming up. But also the snow melts, so there's a lot of dog poo in the snow, so things just kind of smell like shit for a while. So they all have their ups and downs. I guess autumn has no downs. Autumn is all good all around. I'm never sick of autumn.
That's a good call, man. And actually, yeah, autumn's definitely my favorite season. Although I was never a huge summer guy because I look out the window and I sweat, but I'm starting to embrace it. Like, I'm just sort of whatever. I'll be like a sweaty mess, but I'll enjoy the nice weather. But I mean, winter has always bummed me out. I am one of those like seasonal depression kind of guys.
Oh yeah. I mean, it hits me without me realizing it. I think like I'll just be kind of like sad in February and be like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, that's right. It's been gray for 5 months and I would love to see the sun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how they do it in like the Nordic countries, man. I mean, like Ben Alexis, one of my best friends, he lives in Stockholm, Sweden, and he digs it, man. But I don't know how you would get through those, 24 hours of just darkness, man. That would.
Yeah. Is he a vampire?
He might be. He is very handsome, so it's entirely possible.
What happens? I think I've seen like a photo or two of him. If you told me he dresses like a vampire, so if you told me he is a vampire, I believe you. Yeah, I've never met him personally. Yeah,
yeah. He might be. I might have been touring with a vampire all this time, dude.
I mean, do you remember feeling lightheaded at any moment from like maybe blood loss?
I mean, I thought it was alcoholism, but it's entirely possible.
That's how they get you.
Yeah. Disguised as a drinking problem.
Yeah.
That's good, man. It's funny too because we had a Jägermeister endorsement, and everyone always called it deer's blood. So maybe it was a different kind of blood, though.
Yeah, that's how it gets by.
We started off the show super conspiratorial, and we're kind of ending it that way too, man. It's kind of a nice full circle.
It's coming back around. What's another conspiracy? 4G or 5G? How many G's are the no good ones?
I don't know. It's too many G's, man. Too many G's.
You just need the OGs.
Yeah, yeah. 0 G's, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the one about the 4 or the 5 Gs. Isn't it something? Does it have something to do with Chinese spies? Is that one?
I don't know. My landlady is Chinese. She's from China, and she's about, like, think of a conspiracy theory. She's very into it, but she's also very nice. So I can't really hold it against her. So I kind of wish that I was into more of them. Like, it seems like a lot of fun to get into that. It could be. Just get into aliens. That's the funnest one, right? I mean, I'm not into that myself, but I mean, if I had to pick one, that feels like the one you're least likely to get angry about. You're just gonna be like, they're out there. Like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of believe that they are. I don't know that they're, like, probing people's buttholes or anything like that, but I believe that, there has to be something out there. I don't know. I kind of want to get into, like, a weirder one, though. Like, it seems like all the Bigfoot people they're having a great time. Like, they're fucking hammered at like 1 p.m., but they're having fun.
Yeah, I mean, looking for monkeys in the forest, the giant monkey people. That's a cool one too. You can mix the two. Bigfoot could be an alien,
dude. Maybe.
Yeah.
He's an alien, and he has a mobile phone that's 7G.
Oh shit! Don't even talk about the 7th G.
That's the one, man. That's the one. That's when the rapture happens. I don't know if you knew that.
We're going to get cut off if you keep talking about the 7th G.
Dude. It's crazy, man. All right, fine. I'll stop talking about the 7G. And you should too, people. Stop talking about that goddamn 7G. I don't know where the fuck we're going, dude. What's on the docket for this year, man? What do you have on the go?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so everybody's writing all 3 bands. That's kind of it. We're I think World Eaters is trying to put together a run of shows in the summertime. I'm working on some artwork for us right now for this. We're going to release the album on vinyl, and we're doing like a sweater combo thing. So I'm working on the artwork for the sweater. I guess maybe they wanted me to not say the sweater thing, but whatever, Derek. I'm telling you for the first time here.
Dude, that's sick. Time. Are you sure you don't want me to fix it in post?
Don't worry about it. Here, I'll show you. I'll show you the artwork, and the people can't see it, but it's probably a little hard to make. You got some dogs. They're running around. Again, Hounds of Blood, so it's related to dogs. And we'll get it done. We'll get it done very slowly. I've taken very many months to do this. I'm very appreciative of their patience. It's almost done.
That's badass, man. Is it going to be, are you doing like zip ups, or is it like a pullover?
No, we're looking to do pullovers. I don't really like zip ups myself, so I much prefer pullovers. So I think we all voted on pullovers rather than zip up hoodies. And it's just going to be so sick to like have a sweater with my artwork on it. It's going to be very fun. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
Dude, that rules, man. And you're such a killer artist, man. I'm surprised you're not doing like more merch for all the bands, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a band and you want me to do merch, I would love to do your merch as well. Feel free to reach out. But yeah, I don't know. Whenever I get to do it, it's cool. Like I've had a great time doing artwork for Nepenthe, obviously the fellas, and obviously World Eaters, because that's just like fun fantasy art. And then Teleportoise, just because that comes from my soul. So that's like the funnest of them all, but also the most taxing as well. I don't know. So, and also Big Pit. I also did the artwork for Big Pit. It's cool. Like when this World Eaters album comes out, it'll be my 3rd artwork that's on a vinyl cover, which is, very cool just to kind of hold it and be like, nice. I did that one.
Dude, that's super cool, man. And
Yeah.
I touched on this earlier, but it's absolutely true, man. Like everything you touch just ends up cool. So I don't make the rules, man. It's just the way it is.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I appreciate it. Especially on that note, all the shout out. Every time somebody I know is on the podcast, I'm always like listening because I'm like, they're gonna shout me out at some point. It's gonna be so sick. And then whenever it happens, I'm like, yes, it happened. So I appreciate all the shout outs you've been doing on here. It's been I appreciate it every time.
Oh,
nice.
Dude. I mean, my pleasure, man. It's kind of the whole point of the show is just to hopefully show people listening that it's a small world and it's an even smaller world than you think.
Yeah, it's nice. It's kind of like, yeah, the community of music is very cool. Speaking of which, shout out to Mark Tremblay, obviously, sweet young man.
Hell yeah, dude. Actually, I just saw you guys were on Metal on Metal, or there was a song featured, a World Eaters track, on an episode that he did with the guitarist from Who's Your Poet.
Oh, I didn't know that. I have to catch up on Metal on Metal. I didn't know that. I know we were on his playlist, but yeah.
Dude, so sick, man. And like Who's Your Poet was an amazing band back in the day that consisted of John Harvey, who went on to start Monster Truck.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Brother of Steve Harvey.
Well, I mean, there is a Steve Harvey, but that's a different Harvey altogether. Okay,
fair enough. It's cool that I like that Mark, it seems like he really just like interviews people he wants to talk to more than anything, which I think really makes those episodes great because it's not like he has to do this. He just like wants to. So, everything's kind of better that way when you go into it with that intent, right?
Oh, definitely, man. And he's such a cool dude, man. That's another guy that's just cool. I don't know.
For sure.
I know all these cool people, and here I am just frumping it up, What the hell?
You're probably in a similar boat too, though. Like, I imagine nobody's be like, Derek, you have to interview this band for, Sony Music or something. I don't know.
No. I mean, yeah, I definitely get approached by people, and I don't do the gatekeep thing on the walk show. Not that, again, I'm not throwing shade. It's just the sort of model that I decide to live by with this show is just that, like, I'll talk to anybody because I really enjoy talking to people. And I honestly think everybody has an interesting story if you're just willing to listen to it.
Yeah, that's true too, for sure. Definitely kudos to you though. Like I've had to do one interview once and it was very nerve wracking for me. I mean, I'm sure once you do 194, it's different, but like researching this person, writing down all these questions, it's like, I thought I'd like that, but I'm like, I'm good. One was good. I don't need to do that ever again.
It's definitely not for everyone, man. And I don't know, it's one of those things where it's harder to do nowadays, I find, because people have like a lot of pseudonyms online, and bands don't post anything about themselves anymore. I don't know if it's seen as like kind of faux pas, where you're not supposed to say like, hey, I'm Adam from Big Pit. It's just supposed to be like Toronto art rock or, whatever. And then that's it. And when you're trying to research, it makes things a little more difficult. But
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, just something I've noticed I've been doing this over 7 years now, right? So when I started, it was a lot more sort of like, here's the lineup and here's what they do and here's who they're influenced by. And there was a lot more sort of open book. And I don't think it's necessarily anything more than maybe it seems maybe braggadocious to talk about yourself too much. I just don't come from that school of thought. I all I do is talk and probably a fair amount about myself. So it just is what it is.
I was thinking like maybe there was like a couple of years when bands did it too much, and maybe like now there's a push to kind of try to get some mystery around a band. Like, who are these guys really? I don't know. I'll never know. And then you find out and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm not going to listen to this band anymore. Fuck that guy. But,
Yeah, that guy's just a piece of shit. I'm not listening. I know too much.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's kind of like, I don't know if you remember when Slipknot first came out and there was all this kind of allure and this mystique because nobody knew who they were.
For sure, yeah.
And a big part of that kind of died when when they went unmasked, you know? So I guess I get it, but it's just from a researching point of view, it just makes life kind of a pain in the dick sometimes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, and like not everybody you interview has a Wikipedia page, right? So it's kind of trickier for you as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. All I have is what they're, for the most part, what they're willing to put out online, right? So it's, yeah. But I mean, nevertheless, it just like anything, I feel like it gets easier as you do it. But, you know, there's more to it than meets the eye, I guess. It's one thing I really like about podcasting is, it really is its own little world, and you can really go down the rabbit hole if you want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sick.
Anybody you want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to yourself?
Yeah, okay. I mean, shout out to my parents, you know, because they're listening. Shout out to Shira, because she's downstairs with our son, and I should also be down there and give her a break eventually, soon, one of these days. Then shout out to the fellas, Teleportoise, Big Pit, World Eaters, everybody in those bands. I could list the names, but then we'd be here for a while because that's a lot of people. Shout out to all you pals. Fuck. That's it. Not shouting anyone else out.
All right.
Sorry, everyone else. No more shout outs. I'm out of shout outs for today.
Yeah, you'll have to
Fuck
wait
you.
for Adam's next appearance on, you know, the next 4 episode, whatever that ends up being. Hopefully not 400, because that'll be a long time.
Hell yeah.
How can people check out what you're doing online?
I'm mostly I only post on Instagram when I do. I know that's like, I'm actually pretty fired up that like people are kind of navigating off of those sites and kind of figuring out their own thing just because I think it's much cooler. But for the time being, I'm on Instagram still. Taltos Tourum Bar. So that's TALTOS AMBAR. Jam spots. Make some noise. But you can find me on there, and then I have links to all my bands from my personal Instagram. So, and that's where I post my artwork and things like that as well. So that's the best way. That's the quickest and easiest way to get into touch.
Awesome, man. Do me a favor and just spell that out one more time. We're dealing with a little bit of internet lag.
Sorry. Okay. TALTOS. And then if you type TU after those sequence of letters, you'll probably get my Instagram, Taltos Tourum Bar.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Last thing I do is spin 2 tunes. First up is Big Pit with Slur, followed by today's double feature preacher artist James Martinez with The Same As I. Dude, thanks so much for your time, man. Always a pleasure chatting, my friend. Again, you're one of my favorite people to talk to.
Likewise, dude. Hopefully we get to meet in person again sometime in the future. Chill.
Hell yeah, dude. Definitely into that. To the listeners, thank you so much for your time. Catch you next time.
all want the same thing, to live happy and free. But some try to divide us by the difference of you and me. And so far it's working, and I'm sad to say those who are against us have gotten their way. Am I foolish to even say I hope we find our way someday, when I finally decide to see life through your eyes, and you do the same through mine. Why does it matter that we're all unique? 'Cause when you look closer, the same things we see, to be loved and accepted, to know we belong. Oh, you're welcome here, and have been all along. Am I foolish to still believe we can change perspectively? I'm ready to try to see why you cry. Will you do the same as I? Can we get to the problem and try to agree? It's not us who's the issue, but what we're shown on TV. And if I wanna know you, I can't learn from a screen. And I don't care about the difference, 'cause there's really no such thing. When I finally decide to see life through your eyes, and you do the same through mine.